Made in Hollywood.
A mentally unstable abolitionist sets out to incite a nationwide slave revolt in the Showtime limited series, The Good Lord Bird, starring Ethan Hawke and Daveed Diggs.
Hi, I'm Daveed Diggs. You're watching Made in Hollywood, and here's a clip from The Good Lord Bird.
Everybody got God on their side in the war. Trouble is, God ain't telling nobody who he's for.
For you, Ethan, you really were the leader in getting this made. How did the book by James McBride come to your attention? And then what was the process of getting this series done?
I remember when I first heard the title, The Good Lord Bird, I just got obsessed with it. I kept thinking, what does that mean, The Good Lord Bird? And
my name is Captain John Brown!
A friend of mine who had read it said, oh, you know, when you see a bird and it's really beautiful and you go, good Lord, that's a good Lord bird. And they told me that, I just laughed. I thought, I have to read that book.
And I am here in the name of the great King of Kings.
You're obviously a boy, but you play Onion, who John Brown believes is a girl, and you go along with this.
I would say it was pretty easy for me to, play the character of Onion, because the sole purpose behind wearing the dress was he didn't know that if he told John Brown that he was a boy, his true nature, so to say, that if he would die or if John Brown would kill him, what would really happen? So he hid behind the dress as a way to survive.
And you are on the side of change!
Whatever he believed, he believed. Didn't matter if it was true or not. The old man was nuttier than a squirrel turd.
The most humorous parts for me were the scenes with Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
I love them. Frederick Douglass and John Brown don't see eye to eye. I mean, we see that when he goes to his house for the dinner party.
They loved each other, and they didn't see eye to eye. And there's two people who are fundamentally, have differing opinions of how the act of emancipation should go.
America reigns without a rival! Amen! 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 John, go! Get out! Lunatic.
The important thing to remember that I think James McBride in his novel is so attuned to is that we look at this moment in history, or we look at the institution of slavery as just that, as an institution that exists over there. And we forget that that's just people's lives.
I learned about John Brown while trolling through a historical society in Maryland while doing research for a different book. And I was so fascinated with the story, I drove right over to Harper's Ferry, and I became fascinated with this story.
Onion, you've been reading the Bible?
Not too much, Captain, but I've been thinking it's golly way.
We can work with that. You stand for the Lord will stand for you.
Onion is a fictional character, but John Brown is a real person in history, and accounts of him range from being a complete maniacal maniac to being this great hero. So where in there are you playing John Brown?
Well, it's a great question. And I can answer it several ways. One of which, lots of people like to talk about how crazy John Brown was, but usually those people believed that it was okay to keep other human beings in bondage. That's where those stories started. And so John Brown was completely comfortable with that part of society thinking he was crazy.
There's just so much reverence for this man who was willing to die for his mission, which was to emancipate the slaves, which he personally gets nothing out of other than the fact that he knows that God says it's the right thing to do.